So, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to take a look at the Power Rangers Megaforce Gosei Great Megazord. Yes, the Power Rangers Gosei Great Megazord. And this was one of the first ones. On the last Megazord review I did, which was the RPM, someone left a comment saying that these look like capsule toys or toys you'd get at a vending machine, and they're not wrong. They are not wrong in the slightest. Around this time is when they started getting cheap. Really cheap with the plastic. These things are really cheap feeling plastic. And it's actually pretty sad, honestly. Now, I don't own any of the later ones after Super Mega Force, so there's that. But man, they started kind of slumping around here. So this is a Megazord comprised of 5. We have a shark, a snake, which is unique because we don't usually ever get snake Zords. Dragon, saber-toothed tiger. I believe it's saber-toothed tiger, and that's just supposed to be tiger. I'm not sure. And the Phoenix Zord. And they're all pretty unique in their own rights. Clearly one's bigger than the rest, though, by a mile. As far as it goes, this is very different from the Japanese one. The Japanese one, again, much like the RPM one, much better. Japanese ones are always better. I think everyone knows that. When it comes to the Megazords, Super Sentais are always better. I wish I owned any. I just don't own any Super Sentai. At least not that I know of. But, I mean, these are pretty good looking. So let's just take a look at the Zords individually, just because there's a lot. And this guy is pretty much hitting the camera. Like, he's pretty much there. So let's take a look at the Shark Zord first. And for the Shark Zord is pretty alright. I mean, it is one of the smaller ones of the group. Not the worst. There's lots of dust on this guy. I tried getting as much of it off as I could, but once again, in another room for, like, a long time. I mean, the Shark Zord, it's nice. It's nice looking, I guess. I mean, it's certainly a Shark Zord, and it rolls. It also has a removable head. They all have removable heads, and this was the gimmick for the line, and this is how the auxiliary Zords and everything worked. But, yeah, I don't have any auxiliary Zord things. Is that even what they're called? Extra Zords. We'll call them Extra Zords. I don't own any. I don't own any, so I can't even do that. But that was the main point of the removal bits here. This is, I think, they use them in the Morpher, maybe 2. Have wheels on it. Every single one has it. These are, I don't know if they're called headers in the American version. I think they were in the Japanese, though. But I'll just refer to them as that. And they're pretty alright. That is the Shark Zord, so let's take a look at the Phoenix. The Phoenix Zord is probably just even worse than the Shark. At least the Shark kind of looks like that, but the Phoenix just is weird looking to begin with. And is blatantly just the arm, but with wings. Once again, has the header and has a bit of pink on it, as it is the pink Zord. But much like usual, the pink Zord is never pink. It's usually white for some reason, with like a tinge of pink on it. It has the beak and everything going, as the jets. It looks good. Looks nice. I mean, nothing special about it. There's nothing special about it. It's just kind of a fine enough Zord. You know? It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, let's get to the next one, which is Tiger Zord is certainly something. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. It has treads. I think it's supposed to be a bulldozer. Removable header thing. I dropped it. There it is. Nice. You know, pretty nice. That's what they do. Bit of silver, bit of gold. This is probably the worst one, honestly. Like, this and pink are pretty, you know, they're not the best. Anyway, let's get into one of the better ones, and the Snake Zord, which is a train. God, that's awesome. They made a Snake Zord that's a train. Because the whole concept is that these vehicles, that the heads would take over the vehicles. So the head attached to a train and made it a snake. Like I mentioned with the Tiger Zord, the Tiger one attached to a bulldozer, and then the Phoenix one attached to a plane, or a jet, I believe. And I'm not sure if the Shark attached to a boat or a submarine. And then Red attached to an airliner. Yeah, I mean, the snake is pretty alright. It's blatant what he turns into. But, hey, he also has pretty much the same thing going on here, where this part is detachable, because Zord Builder exists. So he basically just functions as the same thing as the yellow Zord, but, you know, looks a little different. As far as the snake head goes, probably one of my favorite ones. I don't know why it has a horn, but, like, it looks pretty alright. It's pretty cool. It's definitely the second best head of the bunch, in my opinion. I like this one a lot. I just think it looks really cool. One thing I never really mentioned is that they do have other peg points, usually. Like, there's, on the head here, you can see there's other grooves. So, for instance, you could do that. But that's the snake. Let's get into the best Zord. The dragon. The Dragon Zord is definitely... It's definitely something. It's the biggest of the bunch, and thus is the best one. Having articulated wings and everything. That also has ports all over the shop, which, of course, if you aim the wings down... I'm not sure if this was an attack from the show or if I'm delusional. You can indeed take all of the heads and put them on the wings. And I think that looks pretty alright. You know, that's something you can do with it. I mean, it's something. As far as the head of the dragon goes, definitely the best one. It's the most painted of the bunch and is pretty good. It even has a movable part on the top. It just looks pretty cool all around. And I mean, he just is pretty nice, although there's a blatant head in his tail. Which we'll get to. I mean, yeah, that is the Zords, so how about we get into the combination then? And so to start the combination sequence, we're going to take the black and yellow Zords. So to start it off, take yellow and attach it to black like so. You can then take the two and rotate them down like so, and then take the feet and flip them up. And there is your legs. The next thing you're going to want to do is take your red Zord, come into the back and remove the tail, which is definitely not the sword. Take the dragon head, squish it in, put on the chest piece of red, make sure everything's pushed in correctly. And then you can take your final two Zords, which are blue and pink. So for blue, you're going to want to come to the tail and you're going to want to flip it apart. Like so. And then peg it together. Take pink, fold the wings down. Put it on the side like so. Come to the sword, open it up, remove the head, close it up again, and add your head. And give him his sword. And there's the Gosei Great Megazord. And this is it's a bit different. So in the Japanese one, the head actually flips out of the dragon instead of it. So where the port is, it would have a flip instead. But on the American one, they decided to make it a severed piece, which, yeah, that doesn't bank well for second hand, does it? Because that's it's easily removed. Like, it's nothing close to the other pegs. Like, it's not nearly as sturdy. But, I mean, as far as it goes, I mean, it does look nice. One thing that's kind of cool to me is that they kind of tried to mirror the detailing on the arms. So they both have the jet thing, but then they also have the gold lines. They are different, but they did try to, and I can appreciate it. I also have the gosei badge there, which looks pretty good. I mean, it does look nice. The sword is just blatantly the dragon tail, but hey, what are you gonna do? It also opens. You can't really put anything else in there except the head, if I'm not mistaken. And there's also a variety of options with this thing. So it is, I believe, supposed to have the wings above the shoulders. But if you don't like that, of course, you can do this as well. And fold it down or fold them out. The wings still have all of the posability they had in the dragon form. As far as posability goes, there's nothing. Once again, it's just arms. But, yeah, he can kick outward. And also has a lag swivel. Fine enough, I guess, for a Megazord. But, I mean, as far as he goes, he's intriguing. Nothing much really more I can say about it. It's a decent enough Megazord that I like a good bit, but it's not my favorite out of the two I own, because I also own the Gosei Ground, and I much prefer that Megazord. Now, let's not say this one sucks, because it definitely doesn't. It still looks good. One of my favorite aspects being the head, and I like that it has like the little like teeth around the face. I think that looks awesome. But there's just a lot of things with this Zord that are like, yeah, it's good, but the cheapness of it, it feels cheap. The RPM one feels kind of similar, like that person pointed out. They got really cheap around this time. I don't know what Bandai was doing, but they said, yeah, we're just going to keep making them cheap. Now, keep in mind, these were like $30 toys, which is kind of crazy, considering. At least at this time, this one was like $30, which is nuts. That's Canadian. Now, it's like, I'm trying to get the new one, the Dino Fury. I'm looking at that one, and it's like $100. Like, it's the price of a new game. And I'm like, do I get that? Because I do want it. It is for all 5 of the main Zords, but it's like, do I get that? Do I actually want to do that? Or do I actually just want to keep going with my main one, which is Transformers, which I ordered Hot Rod. Odd story on that. But, yeah, I mean, it's a good enough thing. So what do I give this? I'm going to give it like a 3.5 out of 5. It's decent looking. It has good Zords. I like the uniqueness of the Snake Sword. I like the concept, but there's a couple stinker Zords. Like, the 2 girl Zords actually aren't that good. Because if you think about it, this is just half of that, which kind of sucks. The Shark's good. Dragon's good. This just looks like an arm for the most part, but with wings flipped out. But yeah, that's been our review on the Power Rangers Gosei Great, or Power Rangers Megaforce Gosei Great Megazord. This has been Eilt Elite signing out.